What is Zen? At its core, Zen is a branch of Buddhism, specifically the Mahayana school, sometimes called the Great Vehicle, which took root across East Asia. In the West, most people recognize two dominant Buddhist traditions, Mahayana and Theravada, meaning the teaching of the elders, which flourishes throughout Southeast Asia. Some scholars add a third Vajrayana, an esoteric form practiced in the Himalayan highlands. Zen itself was born in China, shaped heavily by Taoist thought, before traveling through Vietnam, Korea, and Japan. Today, it belongs to the entire world. The word Zen simply means meditation. At the heart of Zen practice is Zazen, seated meditation, a direct method for seeing into the true nature of the mind and of reality itself. Whatever is discovered through that practice is then lived out, day by day, in service to others. Here's what sets Zen apart from conventional religion. There's no God to worship, no creation myth to believe in, no afterlife to prepare for. Instead, Zen hands you a puzzle, something called a koan. One of the most famous? If you meet the Buddha, kill him. Strange, right? But here's what it's pointing at. Kill your mental idols. Kill your attachment to wealth, to salvation, to any fixed idea of how life should go. Break out of the mental cage you've built around yourself and meet reality as it actually is. The thing you're searching for isn't up in the sky. It's already inside you. Traditional Buddhism rests heavily on sutras, the recorded teachings of the Buddha. Zen respects those, but it doesn't stop there. Zen insists that real understanding cannot be borrowed from a book. It has to be lived, felt, discovered through your own direct experience. This makes Zen less of a philosophy to study and more of a way of life to practice. Meditation is the central tool, sitting still, going inward, and sitting with one radical question: what am I? Not who your parents raised you to be, not the role your job gives you, not the version of yourself you perform for other people online. What are you really? Think about modern life for a second. So much of what we do is performance, building carefully crafted personas, hiding our insecurities, projecting a polished image to the world. The psychoanalyst Carl Jung called what we push down the shadow, all those repressed emotions and rejected parts of ourselves. And when we ignore the shadow, it starts running the show. We become passengers in our own lives, hijacked by the very parts of ourselves we refuse to face. Zen says, stop. Just stop. Pause long enough to ask, what am I actually doing with my life? What's true for me? Not what I was told to want, not what social media suggests I should be, but what is genuinely true for me. Here's the thing most of us deal with constantly. We are trapped in our own mental commentary. The endless loop of thoughts, opinions, memories, and predictions. The Taoists had a line for this. Empty yourself of everything. Let the mind become still. During meditation, you notice it clearly. Thoughts rushing in, feelings arising, and then immediately commentary about those feelings. Two entirely separate things. Zen pulls you out of the commentary and back into the raw experience itself. What are you actually seeing right now? Hearing? Feeling? Tasting? That direct, unfiltered experience. That's where Zen lives. But staying there is hard. The mind wanders constantly, drifting into tomorrow's worries or yesterday's regrets. We spend most of our lives living anywhere but now. That's why in traditional Zen halls, teachers sometimes shout or strike a wooden staff. Not as punishment, but as a jolt back to the present moment. Wake up. Come back. Right here. And when you come back, what do you bring with you? Two simple words. I don't know. That's not weakness, that's liberation. Most of us are so terrified of uncertainty that we construct mental stories just to feel like we have control. Zen invites you to get comfortable with not knowing. Because in that open, uncertain space, something remarkable happens. Genuine curiosity returns. Real presence becomes possible. Life is hard. Everyone suffers. Everyone struggles. That's not pessimism, that's just the human experience. We spend enormous energy trying to solve our problems so we can finally feel okay. But here's the trap. Our thinking is often the very thing creating the problem. The harder we push against it, the more tangled we get. Solve one problem, and 3 more appear. Zen doesn't ask you to give up on solutions. It asks you to widen your perspective, to listen more carefully, because often, the answer is already right there, quietly waiting beneath all the mental noise. Be present. See what's actually in front of you, not your interpretation of it, not your anxiety about it, but what's genuinely happening. Respond to that. That's Zen in practice. That's Zen as a life. We're all running on assumptions. Every conversation, every relationship, every decision is filtered through the lens of what we think we already know. But half the time, what you meant and what someone else heard are two completely different things. Zen doesn't ask you to be perfect. It asks you to notice when you've gotten it wrong without defensiveness, with curiosity. Then listen again, more carefully this time. The practice itself is beautifully simple. Sit down. Close your eyes. Breathe in slowly. What am I? Breathe out slowly. Don't know. In, out. Question, openness. Over and over. Zen brings awareness down into the belly, diaphragmatic breathing, where the stomach rises on the inhale and falls on the exhale. Grounding you, anchoring you here. Zen Master Dogen put it perfectly. To study Buddhism is to study yourself. To study yourself is to forget yourself. The goal isn't to become a Buddhist scholar. The goal is to discover who you actually are, and to do that, you have to let go of everything you think you are. Zen teaches that the boundary between self and world is not as real as it feels. When that wall dissolves, something natural emerges. Compassion, clarity, wisdom. Not forced, not performed, just flowing. So be here, fully here. Not lost in what was, not anxious about what's coming. Awake, aware, and alive right now.